Well, howdy there, pipe pals. How y'all doing? Let's turn this one. Well, howdy, pipe pals. How y'all doing? Hoy Smoking Pipe Bod right here. Well, we got a little bit of a technical problem here. I thought I was recording this last video, and I wasn't recording at all. I'm very upset right now. I'm very, very upset. I did a box opening, and I'm very, very upset. Okay, well, we're going to try this again. Merry Christmas to you. You can see my background there. I got my little Charlie Brown tree back there. Okay, well, this is going to be a video. I'm going to talk about the TSC Week 4 Challenge. So we'll start rolling those videos here and here, or there. Okay. And, basically, this is Week 4. Fortitude was the week. Buzzword, touchstone word. Yeah, I wasn't that happy with my results. I went out to a track. Maybe I'll put the track video here. Didn't do very well on my run. I lost a couple of minutes on my run. I don't know exactly what happened. I think what happened was I kind of just mindlessly just got into the loop and just didn't really apply myself like I should have. I've been doing more of a cross-country run, and during those runs, there's a couple of sections there where I'll speed up intentionally, and I thought, well, if I just stay on the track and keep going, I should be fine, you know. And I think I lulled myself into a false sense of, you know, a slower pace, and I never did get out of that pace. I just never accelerated. You know, I just kind of stayed one pace, and that's all I did for 12 laps. So anyway, you can see the result of that. Wasn't that great. Push-ups and pull-ups I did a little bit better, thanks be to God, but that's, anyway, the run didn't do so good. Anyway, so all right, so that's the TSC Week 4 Challenge. Okay, I wanted to talk about two other things. One, I had a box opening, and this was from Michael Callis. I'm going to see if this is still recording. Hopefully it is. It looks like it is. And Michael is from Deutschland, and he sent me some wonderful, absolutely wonderful, Michael, if you're watching, thank you. I'm going to show these wonderful gifts that Michael shared with me and sent me. Now, I have to tell you, I did do an actual box opening, but unfortunately, this is going to be the second attempt at trying to do a box opening, which, you know, I'm just going to show you what the contents were. Very generous, very, very generous gifts. Michael sent me some lovely, lovely black Cavendish, fruit-flavored black Cavendish, if I think I'm reading this correctly, and I can't wait to try this. Also, I was really amazed at how beautifully vacuum-packed this is, so it's absolutely fresh. Now, I probably am going to wait until I get to my new post before I open this, because I don't want to open it and then I lose it, and then, you know, I'll find it, you know, a year later and it's all dried out. So I'm not gonna open it now. I'm gonna wait till I get to my new parish, and then when I'm able to really enjoy it, and I will enjoy it then. And then this is a beautiful cake tobacco. And again, I might have mentioned that I think I saw Herminator many years ago, who was cutting a cake very similar to this. So I don't know if it's exactly the same, but again, it's a beautiful cake tobacco. Again, it is vacuum packed. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. All right. And then also, again, another generous gift, a 100-gram tin of Virginia Special Roll Flake. tobacco, and I can't wait to try this. This is going to be wonderful. It's fire-cured Virginia roll cake. I'm really looking forward to that as well. And then also, Michael sent me a wonderful German Deutsche calendar. Okay? So thank you, Michael, if you're watching. I hope you are. And I hope you'll accept my sincere gratitude and thanks for your kindness, your great magnanimous gifts, which I really am truly looking forward to enjoying in the new year. So again, thank you, Michael, and may you and your family have a truly wonderful and blessed New Year. Frohe Weihnachten und ein gutes neues Jahr to you and yours, okay? All right. Okay, so that was the box opening, such as it is. And now what I want to share with you are just some Christmas stories. And I hope I can do them justice. I already felt that I was kind of really, I kind of was able to really share what I wanted to share, and I wasn't even recording, which really kind of bums me out. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, I was going to tell you a couple stories, again, sort of like, matches, 860. I don't pretend to be the storyteller that Dear John is, but I'll do the best I can, okay? And this pipe was actually a Christmas pipe that I got at the Briar Patch in Arden Fair Mall before they closed last year. This was my very first cherry wood, and because I was watching old Dunhill Man UK, old Chris there, Crazy Chris, Lovable Chris, I should say. I wanted a cherry wood in the worst possible way, and when I found this cherry wood there, I just had to have it, and so I had it. Hey, I remember. A guy named Woody helped me get this pipe. Old Woody, yeah, God bless him. Hope he's still there. Anyway, okay, so I was going to tell you just a couple of Christmas stories with my Christmas pipe. I'm going to share with you a very special and fun Christmas that I had many, many years ago as a young child, a young person growing up. And it had to do with getting my very first real bike. Now, when I was about maybe 13 years old, yeah, maybe a little bit younger, maybe 12. I can't remember exactly when, but there was a neighbor boy, a guy named Jeff Cheney, I think his name was, old Jeff Cheney, and he was probably in high school, but I would think I was in junior high. Anyway, he was talking to me and my buddy Jimmy about paper routes, and at the time, at first it didn't seem like something I would be interested in, but then I began to realize, hey, wait a minute, maybe there might be something here. And he said, hey, you can get a paper route and you can earn a lot of money if you know what you're doing. Now, granted, it was work. It wasn't easy. It was, you had to carry these papers. You had to do it every day. You had to be consistent. You had to be responsible. You had to, fold them yourself. You had to put them in this satchel thing. You had to put this big, huge satchel thing on. You had to walk around, or if you had a bike. And so anyway, in the beginning, I kind of walked my paper out, which wasn't a problem at all. But eventually, I got an old beat-up bike. An old beat-up, like old beater bike. It was an old AMF bike, and it was kind of like one of these cheapo bikes that you would probably find in an old Montgomery Ward's or maybe a Sears catalog back in the day, about 40, 50 years ago. And I think it was kind of like made out of pressed metal. It was it was extremely cheap. And in fact, this bike was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was actually a hand-me-down bike for me when I first got it. Somebody said, hey, I don't want this bike, maybe it'll help you in your paper out. And it was mostly made out of tin. It had two rubber tires and everything, but it was a very cheaply made bike. And plus, it was already beat up. Now, when I was growing up, I used to watch a lot of old World War II movies. And so as I was driving this old bike, you know, it was kind of rattling around, and it was ugly. It was ugly as sin. And it kind of reminded me of an old B-17 or one of those all those bombers in World War II. So anyway, I would pack it full of my papers, and it would, you know, it was, like I said, it was already pretty well shot. And there was it was not a glamour bike. It wasn't even a real, I never even considered it a real bike. I mean, it was a bike in maybe a theoretical sense. It did have 2 tires, and it had a, you know, a handlebar, but that was about it. And anyway, so once, you know, early on Sunday mornings when I was doing my paper route and there was really nobody around except maybe a couple of drunks stumbling back from the last hurrah, kind of sleep it off. You know, that was basically it. You know, everybody was still asleep on Sunday mornings. And I remember what I'd do is I'd take this bike, it'd be loaded with newspapers, you know, and I would pretend as I was getting one of the streets would come out on top of this top of the street, and then it would start going down, and it would go down into a bank parking lot, and those concrete curbs where you would park your car, you know, up against, you know, those curbs were, you know, lined up and everything. And so my goal was, once I got to the top, I would kind of start pedaling really fast, and then, like in the World War II movies, like I would pretend like my bomber was hit and it was going down in flames, and I would bail out. And so I would get the bike going pretty fast, going down the hill, and then I would jump off the bike, and then I would, you know, land on my keister most of the time, and then I'd watch the bike as it's going down into this parking lot, and I was trying to hit one of those concrete curbs. And sure enough, most of the time, it would find one of them, and it would just boom, and it would hit that concrete curb. The bike would fly over, and all the papers would go spilling out of the satchel. Now, again, they didn't get torn up or anything, and I'd just pick them back up again. But I mean, to me, it was just a little bit of harmless, creative entertainment for a dumb kid, okay? You know, hey, got it. You know, I have this imagination. I'm a World War II, and I'm in, you know, in the bomber, and it gets hit, you know, and we're starting to go down, and so I bail out, and the bike goes boom, and it, you know, blows up. Anyway, you know, hey. So I pick up the papers, put them back in, and pedal off, and, you know, keep giving my paper out. So, well, the reason why I tell that story is because eventually I decided that, hey, I want to get a real bike. I wanted to get a real Schwinn 10-speed. And I'll never forget that because there was a place called Sportsman's Trading Post in Auburn, and there was who was a wonderful gentleman by the name of Mr. Bob Bradbury. You know, God rest him. I think he passed away in 1986. But he was a true gentleman. And one of the neat things was he was a pipe smoker. Mr. Bradbury always reminded me of, he was kind of like the guy that walked out of a Norman Rockwell painting. He was that kind of a guy. He was a very genteel, you know, mild-mannered, very, very cordial kind of a person. You know, he was very helpful, very knowledgeable. And so I remember once I got my paper route, and I remember going into Sportsman's Trading Post and looking at, you know, on the wall there where they had all the really nice bikes. You know, the Schwinn Varsities, the Schwinn Continentals, and I guess the Schwinn Paramounts. Those was, I guess at that time, was their true racing bike. But anyway, I remember had my eyes just absolutely fixed on this green Schwinn Varsity 10-speed. So I remember they weren't cheap, obviously, and it was going to be a commitment. And I needed to see if I could get a layaway started so I could, you know, every month I'd bring in my little monthly paper route money, and I would add it to that purchase to eventually, hopefully, you know, pay off the bike so I could, you know, one day take it home. So I'll never forget, I had probably started about 10 months before, and it was around probably, it was Christmas, it was December, and I just got my Sacramento Bee little paper route check, and it was about 5 in the evening. It's dark like it is now, And I just remember going into Sportsman's Trading Post with Mr. Bradbury. There he is with his pipe. More of a straight stem kind of a pipe, but he was a pipe smoker. He looked just like I said, he walked out of a Norman Rockwell painting. And he was very, very professional and very courteous and very knowledgeable and very helpful. And I'll never forget the excitement. Once I gave him my last check, he went finally to the showroom, and there was like a hoist or something, and he went up and he, you know, very carefully picked out my green bike that I'd been looking at for months in the showroom window there. Finally, he takes it down off of the wall. I'll never forget that. I can see it right now. I can see exactly. And he takes it down off the wall, and he, you know, finally brings it down onto the floor, and he wheels it into the back there where he had a little stand. And he would put the bike gingerly up on this really nice stand. You know, he wouldn't scratch it or anything. And then he showed me how the derailleurs worked, you know, the gear levers worked, you know, and how to shift gears, and then how the brakes worked, and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And then we put a light on it that night, that very same afternoon, so I could ride it home. And I'll never forget the feeling of riding that 10-speed home. It was in the dark. It was even raining. I'll never forget. It was even raining. And I was just filled with so much, if I dare say, Christmas joy. The anticipation, the excitement, that warm feeling that I had, that this was something that I spent time, I was committed to getting this bike. It was something I had wanted, and I worked hard for it, and I finally achieved this wonderful kind of, you know, Christmas gift to myself. I guess it was one of those, the first Christmas where I realized, you know, a lot of times when you're a young kid, that, you know, Christmas basically comes from your parents, obviously. And you tell them, you know, you look through the catalog, you see something on TV or whatever, or in the newspaper or magazine, and, oh, I want this, I want that. And you kind of hint around, you know, for 6 months, you know, I want this for Christmas, I want this for Christmas. But this was the very first time that I kind of earned something for myself. And it was kind of probably the beginning of, you know, moving more into my adulthood, because it was realizing that, you know, if you want something, you sometimes have to really work for it yourself. And I'll never forget that feeling of satisfaction. And I'll never forget, you know, I drove it home. I didn't get in any accidents, you know. I was, you know, because I, you know, no, I have a feeling somebody's going, well, did you put the paper out and dive bomb it into the bank parking concrete parking bumpers? And no, I didn't do that with my Schwinn 10-speed. No way. I babied that thing. And I mean, I remember I brought it in. My mom let me bring it into the house there, and, you know, I wiped it all down and polished it up, and oh, it was a joy. It was a joy, you know. So anyway, that's my little Christmas story for you. I hope that you got something out of that. Thanks for putting up with me and my shenanigans here. And I hope this video works this time. Anyway, again, I want to say thanks to Michael Callis. And again, happy Christmas to all of you. Little shout outs to, you know, some really, I think, good YouTube friends. David, also in Deutschland. Herminator, dear friend. Gary, the Gentleman Scholar. Matches 860, Crazy Making Change, just to name a few, Old Dig Sex, Old J Videos. Gosh, there's so many other people I wish I could say hi to and have fond memories of. And my videos will be back up. All of them will be back up soon. I just kind of have sequestered them for a while. Anyway, so again, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great rest of the Christmas season. You know, we do celebrate a season of Christmas, not just a day. So enjoy the season, and I hope you have a wonderful and happy and healthy new year. And we'll be back next week with the next installment of the TSC Global Challenge. So thanks for watching, and happy Christmas, and light up your world, light up your pipe. Take care now. Bye-bye.